Well, that's so true. We put in a submission. It was one of the two strongest submissions, strong on detail and argument, when the government was going to change the machinery legislation, and they have changed it to an extent. And that was that we were insistent that there must be a level playing field from the point of view of the government, as was shown in 1999 when the Howard government was absolutely fair to both sides and ensured that they were constantly fair to both sides, so that there was a level playing field. Didn't mean that we didn't have, we weren't impoverished. That wasn't the sort of thing that they were going to fix up. It didn't mean that we didn't have support, the support of various organisations, the media and so on, but it just meant that from a regulatory and procedural way, there should be equal treatment. There should be no disadvantage to either side. Well, just in relation to this matter, does ACM have any particular knowledge or relationship with the Indigenous?
ACM most definitely does have a close relationship with the Indigenous community. Since its inception in 1999, we've had close affinity and respect for many Indigenous Australians. For example, Senator Neville Bonner had led ACM's Queensland delegation to the 1998 Constitutional Convention at Old Parliament House, and that was the only speech which attracted standing ovations from both sides of the convention. We have also had Dr. Margaret Valdian, who is the head of the Aboriginal Arts Committee, who was one of the subscribers to our founding documents and charter. So yes, and a lot of ACM supporters are Indigenous Australians. So we do have a very close and respectful relationship with our Indigenous community.
I think that's very true. Of the 7 original subscribers, which included a former Chief Justice, a former Vice-Chancellor, a former Chairman of the ABC, former President of the Law of the Supreme Court in New South Wales, of the Court of Appeal, and a former Labor Lord Mayor of Sydney, we had 2 leading Indigenous subscribers of 7. And it demonstrated, I think, even in the early 90s when ACM was formed, that is about 1992, when the actual company was established, that we were very concerned about the Indigenous people. Well, we have decided, have we not, ACM has decided that we're not happy with the present process. It's not that we're taking a position on whether or not there should be a voice, and the form of that voice, if there is to be one. We're taking a view that it is premature to go ahead with a vote now. We're saying it should go to an elected constitutional convention. That's what we're arguing. Why are we saying that, do you think?
I think we're saying that because no matter what Australians ultimately decide at the end of this referendum, the great thing about Australia is we will respect that decision of the Australian people. As you might recall, Sir John Quick and Sir Robert Darwin, one of them being the first member of the House of Representatives and the other, the first public servant, had said in their book in the early 20th century that change wasn't necessarily bad, and we weren't not to stop change, but we had to ensure that there is proper discussion and that there is widespread agreement that it is desirable, irresistible, and inevitable. I'll repeat that. Desirable, irresistible, and inevitable. A constitutional convention will allow that to happen. It will allow a discussion from not only politicians, but people from all walks of life, whether it is Indigenous people themselves and Indigenous groups that support the voice and that don't support the voice, members of religious organisations and institutions, people from the community, politicians, not politicians. It allows them to come together and to really debate and discuss the matter at hand so that Australian people will be able to make an informed decision. In 1998, the Constitutional Convention was an extremely handy tool for Australians to really watch that debate. And a lot of people made their decision about the referendum in 1999 based off the Constitutional Convention in 1998, where they could hear both sides of the argument.